I'm Jesse, editor of Focus on the Family Clubhouse magazine.
And I'm Bob, producer of the Adventures in Odyssey Club. Welcome to the official Adventures in Odyssey podcast.
This week on the podcast, we have a look back on Odyssey's past, a look ahead to an upcoming adventure overseas, and much more.
Yeah, but first, let's talk about the recent Get in the Show event. You know, our live events are like a week of summer camp, Jess, just squeezed into one day. So many emotions and so many things are going on at once. Sometimes you don't realize something's happened until it's over.
Which is why we're here to show you some of what went on behind the scenes. We saw the finalist auditions on our last podcast, but what happened before that?
Well, the event staff set up the stage and all the technical equipment, which looked and sounded great. And then we got the actors mic'd up and ready to go.
Each of our 3 finalists got a chance to rehearse with the actors for that final audition, which would be the next day. And just to keep everything fair, the contestants didn't get to see each other auditioning.
Right. The amazing thing about this part was that none of the finalists even got a chance to read the script before they rehearsed it on Friday afternoon. Dave Arnold, who was directing, mentioned multiple times how impressed he was that all 3 of these kids could interpret that script on the fly without preparation. These were some talented finalists.
Absolutely. I spent time with each of them working on a story for Clubhouse, and they were all great to talk to. You know, such talented Odyssey fans. And by the way, that story will be in the November issue, which features Katie Leigh on the cover. But the Clubhouse story and the audition weren't all that these 3 did before the finale event.
Nope, our films team put together this peek at their time on Friday.
I'm feeling really excited.
I'm really excited and hungry.
I drove to Spokane 3 hours.
Wow.
Took the flight overnight. Today is still yesterday for us.
The timing is just weird. I don't quite understand it.
Yeah.
They like history and reading.
Now, the prize of the contest is that one of you guys is going to be the winner and get to go on the cruise. However, all of you are going to be in an Adventures in Odyssey show. So you might not have known that, but we're recording it right now. So we have a couple of parts, well, more than a couple. We have several parts in a show that we recorded here a few weeks ago that we did not record, that you guys are going to record. So no pressure. It's going to be kind of, I feel like we're throwing a lot of stuff at you guys, even as I'm saying all this, so sorry about all that. Don't feel overwhelmed, or try not to feel overwhelmed.
So all 3 of them will be heard on Adventures in Odyssey?
Yep. If you listen to the episodes titled The Last Straw and Rewinding the Big Picture, you'll hear Bethany, Dalen, and Grayson. Now, both of those shows will be in the Adventure Club next year.
That's awesome. Now, this finale event was partially to choose the grand prize winner of the Get in the Show contest, of course, but we also celebrated Odyssey's upcoming 30th birthday. And to do that, we asked some of the creators, producers, and actors to look back on these past 3 decades. Let's hear and see what they had to say.
I got a call, and Dr. Dobson had wanted to do a radio drama that Steve Harris had written, a radio drama called Spare Tire, and could I be involved? And I said sure. So I played a role. I cast the woman who played my wife and the other people in the program. That was received well, and that led to the series, which was called Family Portraits, that was really the precursor to Adventures in Odyssey.
I think the vision when we first started was to create credible entertainment, not what was then sort of Christianese entertainment that could be embarrassing. I mean, I don't think any of us were thinking, wow, 30 years later we'll be talking about it. But we knew that whatever we were going to do needed to be top quality.
I had been wanting to convey good Christian principles, solid Christian principles in a dramatic format for a long time. I wanted to be able to say, okay, you know what, Christians can write good material. We can write stuff that's on par with anything out there in Hollywood, and we could express our values in really, really good ways.
The fun part for me was to come in and really innovate what was sort of a lost art. We were in the 80s, it was the late 80s, and so much had happened in terms of entertainment expectations from people. The bar is much higher, you know, Star Wars has come out and now everybody expects all these wonderful, you know, effects and things. And so from my perspective, I just thought, well, let's treat this more like a movie. Let's not think of it in terms of an old-time radio thing. Let's think of how we can create sound design to immerse you in the experience. And so we began to explore ideas, and it was so much fun to come to work in those early days. I told my wife, I get to go to work today. I get to go play in the sandbox today, you know?
Hal Smith is a guy that I dearly, dearly loved. He was in many ways a father figure for me. And perhaps I romanticized that a bit because Hal had his own rough edges and some, but there was just something about it. Part of it was, I'm sure, was influenced by the fact that because he was in the Andy Griffith Show and a character that I always thought was fun and funny, and to be able to work with him and get to know him, I don't know, I just fell in love with him.
It was lots of fun. He always had a story to tell. He always made his cheeks wiggle. I think he and I probably created the foundation for Odyssey. That might sound very puffy to say that, but I think, you know, our relationship was really key in the beginning of the show.
When Hal Smith died, I thought that Odyssey was done. So I really thought, well, maybe we should just close things down. And I think we had some serious discussions about, let's do something else. This has been, you know, it's had a nice 5-year run. That's good. That's a lot. We can replay those over and over again, and let's see what we can do. Something else that we can do. But God had different plans.
When people began to write about what the show meant to them and how it impacted them, that was surprising. I don't think we could have anticipated that a show would have as much of an impact as Odyssey ultimately has had.
I can't emphasize enough the power of the Holy Spirit on these shows. If it was just up to us as writers, directors, sound designers, the show would have been one and done probably. But the truth of the matter is that for some reason, God has chosen to be present in the midst of it.
It's an emotional thing for me to think what God has done. I could never have dreamed that God would use us in such a way, and I think I can speak for everybody on that one. We all were surprised.
To be able to sort of hang up my hat at some point and say, my career was basically built around this thing to me, it's a real privilege. I am a blessed man because I've met so many wonderful people, creating friendships that I will never forget.
Naming the series Odyssey is a journey. It's an adventure. It's an ongoing, exciting voyage that we're all on, and I think that that's what's going to continue on in the future.
Just watching pieces like that makes me really proud to be part of Odyssey. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next 30 years.
And I can't wait to see what's happening this fall. Aren't we going somewhere far, far away in the club?
We certainly are. We've got a multi-part episode set in, well, let's take a look.
you guys certainly did a lot during your time in New Zealand.
Oh, and that's just the tip of the island, Jesse. You'll be hearing about a lot of the places we went in the drama There and Back Again. Those episodes release exclusively in the club starting in October.
Well, that's all for this edition of the official Adventures in Odyssey podcast, a presentation of Focus on the Family.
Visit us online at witsend.org/podcast or call us at 1-800-A-FAMILY. I'm Bob.
And I'm Jesse, reminding you that with God in your life, every day's an adventure.